Dust clings to my boots like old regrets. I stand there, foreclosure notice crumpled in my fist, the ranch my father broke his back for reduced to red ink on cheap paper. The wind carries the scent of dry earth, whispering how close I am to losing it all. That's when she drives up, tires crunching gravel, her sleek car out of place against the sagging fences. She steps out, city shoes sinking into the mud, not even flinching. Tall, with that sharp gaze that sizes up everything like a deal on the table. "Elena," she says, extending a hand I don't take. "I've heard about your trouble. Let me stay for a season, work the land beside you. I'll pay off the debt your father left." Pride twists in my gut, hot and bitter. The bank's deadline hangs like a storm cloud, ready to flood everything. But her eyes hold mine, unflinching. 3 months. Her first step into the barn seals it. Or I lose the only home I've known. Father's death hit like a late frost, killing what little green was left. Bad loans piled up from years of chasing bigger herds, bigger yields. Now it's just me. Hands calloused, thicker than leather, hauling feed at dawn, mending fences that seem to break faster than I can fix them. The isolation wraps around like barbed wire, tight and unyielding. I've kept it together alone, but the numbers don't lie. The ranch is drowning, and I'm sinking with it. Elena unpacks her single bag in the guest room, the one with the creaky floorboards. She's all polished edges, but she explains over coffee, black, no sugar, like she's laying out terms for a merger. Boardrooms in the city have worn her thin, she says. Endless wars over profits, no room for anything real. This place drew her, the raw honesty of the land. No games, just dirt and sweat. She wants to stay, to work, to earn her way into clearing that debt. Her voice is steady, but I catch the flicker in her eyes, like she's running from something heavier than city lights. I don't trust it. Outsiders come with promises that turn to dust. So I test her. From the start. Mucking stalls at first light, the shovel heavy with manure that steams in the chill air. Hauling feed sacks that bite into your shoulders like hungry teeth. I watch from the corner of my eye, expecting her to balk, to call her driver and vanish back to whatever penthouse waits. But she rolls up her sleeves, fine blouse traded for an old shirt of mine that hangs loose on her frame. Sweat beads on her brow by noon, mixing with the grit. She doesn't complain, just pushes through, muscles straining under skin that's never known this kind of burn. Her questions start small, then cut deeper. How long has this fence held the herd? Why plant that crop in this soil? Each one feels like a probe, stirring memories I'd buried. Father's hands on these reins, his laugh echoing in the barn. I answer in grunts at first, but she listens, really listens. Head tilted like she's mapping the land in her mind. It unnerves me, how she fits into the rhythm without breaking it. That first evening, we share a meal in the dim kitchen. Stew from the last of the garden vegetables, thick and warming against the cooling air. Silence settles thick as the humidity after rain, broken only by the clink of spoons. Her gaze drifts to my scarred hands, the ones marked from years of wire and rope. She doesn't ask about them, but I feel the weight of her looking. My skin prickles under it, a heat that has nothing to do with the stove. Then she leans forward, eyes lighting with that city spark. "You could install irrigation tech," she says. "Drip lines, sensors to track moisture. Save water, boost yields without fighting the drought so hard. It's practical," she insists, like she's pitching to a room full of suits. But it clashes against everything I know. Father's ways, stubborn as the oldest oaks, rooted deep. Modern fixes mean machines over hands, profit over the feel of soil under your nails. I push back, voice low. This land doesn't bend to gadgets, it demands you bend to it. Her jaw sets, but she nods, dropping it. For now. Night falls heavy, stars pricking the black sky like distant warnings. Her presence echoes from the guest room, footsteps soft on the floorboards. An unwelcome guest in my thoughts, stirring the quiet I've clung to. But the debt looms larger, and her deal is the only rope thrown my way. The ranch wakes before the sun, a rhythm etched into my bones. Dawn feedings come first, hay bales dragged across frost-kissed ground, the horses nickering soft in the dim light. Their breath clouds the air, warm against the chill that seeps through my jacket. Then it's fence repairs, endless stretches of wire sagging under wind and time, my pliers biting into rusted barbs until my fingers ache. The land stretches wide, canyons carving shadows in the distance, isolation pressing like a hand on your shoulder. No neighbors close enough to borrow a tool or share a meal. Just me and the sky, vast and indifferent. Elena's city habits clash at first. Sharp edges against the blunt work. Her polished nails crack on the hammer handle day 2, flecks of red polish mixing with the dirt. She winces, hauling water buckets, the weight pulling at shoulders unused to it, and mutters about the dust coating everything. Her skin, her hair, the inside of her throat. I catch the complaint slipping out. Quiet curses under her breath as she wipes sweat from her eyes. But they fade by week's end, turning to a steady endurance. She moves slower, deliberate, like she's learning the land's pace. No more checking her phone every hour for signals that don't reach. Just the scrape of her boots on gravel, syncing with mine. I start sharing Father's stories in bits, over lukewarm coffee at the splintered table. How he came here young, pockets empty, taming this dirt with sweat and stubborn will. No loans from banks, no fancy equipment, just calloused hands and a belief the land would give back if you gave first. He wrestled storms that flooded the creek, droughts that cracked the earth like old skin. Built the barn board by board, laughing through blistered palms. Elena listens without interrupting, her fork paused midair, eyes fixed on the horizon beyond the window. Unflinching, like she's seeing him in the fields. Her own past slips out in hints, guarded as a coyote at water's edge. Empty penthouses in the city, she says once, voice low while we stack firewood. Glass walls that echoed too loud after her parents left. Divorce that split the family like a felled tree. She chased deals to fill the quiet. Boardrooms where trust was just another contract clause. No roots, just climbing higher until the air thinned. I nod, not pushing, but the words hang between us, heavy as the axe in my hand. Chores force us close, unavoidable in the narrow spaces. Handing her a tool, our fingers brush, rough against smooth, a spark jumping like dry grass to flame. Steadying the ladder while she nails a post, my palm flat on her back, feeling the heat through her shirt. Her breath catches, quick and sharp, and mine does too. I pull away fast, but the air thickens after, charged. My body tenses at her nearness, muscles coiling like wire under strain. These walls I've built, high and barbed against outsiders, start to shift, betraying me with a warmth I can't name. Her scent lingers, faint soap and earth now, pulling at something deep. Days blur into weeks, the seasons turn, marking time in golden light slanting longer. But that's when the sky darkens sudden, clouds rolling like thunder over the ridge. A downpour hits hard, trapping us in the barn, water drumming the tin roof like a heartbeat we can't ignore. The rain hammers the barn roof, relentless as a pulse you can't slow. Water sheets down the walls, turning the ground to slick mud that sucks at our boots. We huddle near the stalls, horses shifting uneasy in the dark. Elena wipes her face, strands of hair plastered to her skin. I toss her a rag, but she fumbles it, eyes on the spooked mare in the corner. The animal's eyes roll white, hooves stamping. She steps forward, voice too sharp. Easy now. The mare rears, front legs kicking air. Elena reaches out, hand grazing the flank wrong. Too sudden, like a command instead of calm. The horse bolts, shoulder clipping her arm. She stumbles back, hitting the post, a gash opening on her forearm. Blood wells quick, dark against pale skin. I grab the lantern, light swinging shadows across her face. Sit. She does, breath steady but eyes wide, revealing that fear of weakness she hides so well. I pour water over the cut, cloth pressing firm. It stings, she hisses, but holds still. Her arm trembles under my fingers, veins standing out like ridges in dry earth. Why'd you approach like that? Horses smell intent. If it's force, they push back harder. She meets my gaze, unflinching now. I thought logic would work. Talk it down. I snort, tying off the bandage. Out here it's feel, not think. The wound finds us reluctant, her leaning into the care like it's a crack in her armor. But she straightens quick, pulling away. Thanks, I'll manage. Days later, over coffee gone cold, she pushes back. Sell some parcels, she says. The back acres, unused. Quick cash to ease the bank. Her voice is practical, eyes on the map she'd sketched. It's not surrender, it's survival. Anger flares in my chest, hot as branding iron. Those acres are Father's blood. He walked every line, planted every post. Selling's like carving out your own heart for coin. Legacy isn't land you trade, it's the weight you carry. The story is sunk deep. She argues, voice rising, but I see the flicker, her own losses echoing mine. We end sharp, words hanging like smoke. Still, shared labor deepens. A fence breaches in the wind, wires snapped, posts leaning drunk. We tackle it at dawn, tools clanging. I hammer stakes, she hauls rails, muscles straining under the load. Her shirt clings with sweat, arms corded now from weeks of this. Our rhythm sinks. Pass the wire, hold the post. Like unspoken trust building slow. Her laugh breaks once, short and real, when a post wobbles and we both lunge to catch it. Bodies close, breath mingling. We pull apart, but the air hums after. Nighttime confessions start by the fire, flames crackling low. She stares into the embers, voice soft. Wealth was my fence, she says. Built it high to keep out the empty. Parents gone, deals filling the silence. Loneliness masked as ambition, climbing until nothing touched ground. I nod, poking the logs. Father's ghost haunts me same. Every failed crop, every empty stall, it's me not measuring up. Fear coils tight, like rope around ribs. What if I break what he held? Her hand finds my shoulder then, warm through flannel, thumb brushing light. I tense, heat spreading. She pulls away too quick, eyes dropping. Sorry. Tension builds in those small moments. Her fingers grazing mine over a shared bucket, lingering a beat too long. A glance across the field, holding steady until one looks away. My body betrays, pulse thudding like distant thunder. These walls shift, but I brace them, fearing the give. Then drought hits, cruel and slow. Crops wilt under relentless sun, leaves curling like fists. We ration water, creek running thin as a whisper. The ranch's fragility stares back, fields cracking, herd restless. We confront it head on, hauling what we can, but the land demands more than will. The drought digs in deeper, sun baking the earth until it splits like parched lips. We try digging a new well, my shovel biting into rock-hard soil, Elena beside me with a pickaxe that blisters her palms raw. Hours pass, sweat stinging eyes, but we hit nothing but dry stone. The hole mocks us, shallow and useless. She straightens, wiping dust from her face, and suggests sensors again. Tech probes to find underground water, precise as a scalpel. I shake my head, shoulders heavy. Father's way was to read the land's signs, feel the shift in the wind, not chase numbers on a screen. Her ideas clash like thunder on clear days, pulling at the roots I've trusted all my life. We cover the pit in silence, the failure weighing heavier than the dirt. Dawn hauls us to the creek next, water trickling like a vein run dry. Buckets swing from yokes across our shoulders, the load pulling muscles until they scream. My back aches with each step, fire in the spine. But Elena matches pace, her breath's ragged, yet steady. We fill in the dim light, mist rising off the stream like ghosts. On the third trip, a rock catches her boot, spilling half the load. She curses, low and sharp, then laughs, sudden, breaking through the exhaustion like sunlight piercing clouds. It's the first real one I've heard from her, rough around the edges, pulling a reluctant smile from me. We trudge back together, water sloshing, the shared strain easing something tight in my chest. Vulnerability creeps in slow, like fog off the canyon. One evening, after we've rationed the last drops for the garden, she sits on the porch steps, knees drawn up. "The deal's hollowed me," she says, voice barely above the crickets. Boardrooms full of handshakes that meant nothing, climbing ladders that led nowhere but colder air. She sought this ranch's silence for solace, a place where words weren't weapons. Her eyes fix on the darkening fields, unflinching in the admission. I see the burnout etched in the lines around her mouth, the way her hands clench like they're still signing away pieces of herself. It stirs pity, unwanted, softening the edges of my guard. I share Father's final words that night, words I'd locked away like a rusted lockbox. "Fight for what roots us," he rasped on his last breath, hand weak on mine. Not the money or the fences, but the pull of this dirt, the life it demands. Telling her cracks something open, voice thick as I speak. Elena listens, firelight flickering on her face, and something shifts in her, a protective glint, like she's vowing to stand against the bank's shadow. Her nod is quiet, but it lands heavy, bridging the space between us. Evenings draw us to the fire after, flames snapping in the hearth like secrets spilling. Stories flow easier now, unbidden. She speaks of her as a girl on a forgotten farm up north, mending fences with calloused hands before the city swallowed her family whole. The work grounded her then, simple and true, before ambition twisted it into chains. I counter with my own, hiding desires in the endless labor, burying wants under layers of soil and sweat. The unspoken ones, the ache for touch that isn't just a handoff of tools. Her gaze holds mine longer across the embers, testing boundaries I've long guarded, pulling like gravity I can't fight. The air thickens with it, that unspoken pull, humming in the quiet spaces. A brush of arms while stacking wood, her skin warm against mine, lingering until breath catches. I feel it in my core, a warmth spreading like roots seeking water, but I turn away, walls holding just enough. Then livestock illness strikes. Fever running through the herd like wildfire. Calves weaken in the pens, breaths labored. We pull all-night vigils, lanterns low, mixing remedies by feel. Pretenses strip away in the sick pen, just hands and worry in the dark. The fever grips the smallest calf tightest, its ribs sharp under thin hide, breaths coming in shallow rasps. We kneel in the straw, lantern light pooling yellow on the pen floor. Elena's hand steady on mine as we mix the herbal remedy. Salt, willow bark, water boiled over a camp stove. Her fingers press firm, guiding the stir, calluses forming where none were before. She's competent now, no fumbling, reading the animals flinch like she reads a balance sheet. Reluctant respect stirs in me, watching her focus sharpen, brow furrowed against the dark. This isn't boardroom strategy, it's gut deep, the kind that saves or loses lives. But dawn brings the argument, words erupting like a spring geyser. The calf stabilizes, but the herd's cost mounts. Vet calls we can't afford, feed running low. Elena straightens, wiping hands on her jeans, eyes hard. "Let me buy it outright," she says. "The ranch. Full price. More if needed." Salvation, she calls it, voice edged with that city certainty. Debt gone, you free to start over. I see surrender in it, though. Handing father's sweat to a stranger, trading roots for cash that vanishes like morning mist. This isn't just land. It's the pulse under my feet, the stories in every furrow. "No," I snap, voice cracking the quiet. "It's not yours to claim." Her jaw tightens, frustration flashing. "Pride won't feed the herd. You're drowning in ghosts." We stand close, breaths heavy, the air between us taut as a bowstring. She sees progress in money, I see erasure. The fight hangs, unresolved, pulling us further apart even as the work binds us. The fail cycle peaks that night. Another calf weakens fast, fever burning hotter than the stove's coals. We dose it, watch through the hours, but come morning it's gone. Eyes dull, body limp in the straw. Blame shifts like sand in wind. You push too hard on the rations, I mutter, guilt twisting my words. Her eyes narrow. And you cling to old ways that kill what's left. Silence falls heavy after, the loss carving deep. In the dark, before sleep claims her, I hear it. Soft hitches in her breath, tears she wipes quick on her sleeve. Cracks in that armored resolve, vulnerability spilling like water from a cracked bucket. She's not unbreakable, this millionaire. She's frayed at the edges, same as me. Reconciliation comes through action, not words. At first light, we bury the calf in the back pasture, where the soil's softest. Shovels bite earth, dirt caking under nails, the rhythm steadying us. Sweat beads despite the chill, muscles burning in sync. Words stay few. Pass the rope, here. But weighty, carrying the grief we share. Her shoulder brushes mine as we pat the mound flat, a quiet anchor. No apologies, just the land absorbing the hurt, like it always does. The sensory pull intensifies after, her scent shifting, earth clinging to skin, faint perfume mingling with hay and sweat, stirring a forbidden warmth low in my belly. It lingers in the barn, on the porch steps, pulling like a current I fight. Her laugh, rarer now, lands softer. A glance holds longer, testing. My body responds unbidden, pulse quickening at her nearness, walls thinning against my will. Internal questions haunt the quiet hours. Is this deal saving the land, or unraveling the solitude I've clung to like dry timber? Her presence fills the empty spaces, but what if it burns through, leaving ash? Season's midpoint brings the storm. Floods rising swift in the fields, trapping us in the house for days of raw honesty. The storm rolls in fierce. Rain lashing the windows like fists, demanding entry. Floodwaters rise overnight, turning the fields to a churning brown sea, the creek swelling until it breaches the yard. Power cuts out with a final flicker, plunging the house into shadow. We light candles, flames dancing unsteady on the kitchen table, casting long shapes that stretch across the walls like unspoken fears. The air hangs heavy, thick with damp and the scent of wet earth seeping through cracks. Outside, thunder growls low, shaking the timbers. We're cut off, the ranch an island in the deluge. No roads passable, no calls getting through. Forced closeness settles in, slow, unavoidable as the rising water. The house feels smaller, rooms shrinking under the weight of the storm. We share the living room for warmth, fire crackling in the hearth from splintered fence wood we salvaged earlier. Blankets drape over our shoulders, wool rough against skin, her knee brushing mine when we shift. Cooking shifts to the stovetop, pots simmering over open flame, steam curling up to mingle with our breaths. Elena stirs the beans, her arm close enough I feel the heat radiating from her body. A constant pull. Unwelcome, yet drawing me in like gravity. Her shoulder presses against mine as we eat from the same pot, spoons clinking soft. I catch myself leaning into it, the solidness of her grounding me against the howl outside. My pulse quickens, traitorous at the nearness. Confessions deepen in the dim light, words spilling easier without the day's distractions. She sits cross-legged on the rug, candlelight hollowing her cheeks. Building the fortune was proof, she says, voice low against the rain's drum. Parents abandon her young, father chasing deals, mother fleeing to a new life across the country. Left her proving worth in boardrooms, stacking wins like walls against the empty. Each merger, each climb, a shout into the void. See me, I matter. Her hands clench the blanket, knuckles white, eyes fixed on the fire. The vulnerability cracks her open, raw as the flood tearing at the land. I see the girl she was, small against the vastness, same as me, staring at endless acres. My guarded heart shifts then, walls giving under the weight. Isolation's toll presses heavy, I admit, voice rough. Father's debt mirrors my own fear, unworthiness gnawing like rust on iron. He built this with hands that never quit, but I? Every failed season, every notice from the bank, whispers I'm not enough, not strong, not rooted deep as him. The words hang, exposing the ache I've buried under labor. Elena's gaze meets mine, steady, no pity, just understanding, like she's carrying the same load. Her hand covers mine, thumb tracing a scar, warm and sure. The touch lingers, electric, pulling a breath from me I can't hold. Thunder roars then, shaking the house to its bones. Lightning cracks the dark, illuminating her face inches from mine. The air charges, thick as before a strike. I don't know who moves first, maybe her, maybe the storm, but our lips meet, desperate and real, tasting of salt and rain-soaked want. Her hand cups my neck, fingers threading hair, body pressing close under the blanket. Heat surges, undoing me, a fire I've banked too long. But she pulls back, sudden, eyes wide in the flicker. The storm's illusion, she whispers, breath ragged. Just proximity, nothing more. She stands, blanket falling, retreating to the corner like burned by the touch. Pain lingers through the days, words sparse as we resume work in the mud once waters recede. Slashing through fields, pulling debris, our glances betray the shift. Quick looks that hold heat we can't name. Tension coils tighter, unspoken, in every brush of arms, every shared silence. The kiss echoes, a ghost in the damp air. Harvest nears, golden heads bending under lingering wet. But the bank's final notice arrives by courier, sodden but clear. Deadline forces the ultimate choice, her season ending, debt, or us hanging in balance. Crops teeter on the edge, heads heavy but stems brittle from the flood's aftermath, roots starved in the sodden soil. We walk the rows at dawn, Elena's boots squelching beside mine, her hand shading eyes against the rising sun. Yields look thin, patches yellowing where water pooled too long. Her investment ideas surface again, vital now. Drip lines to salvage next season, solar pumps pulling from the creek without draining it dry. I lean on the fence, wood rough under my palms, pride warring with the dependence gnawing at me. She's woven into this place, her hands on the land as much as mine. But accepting her fixes feels like yielding more than soil, like admitting I can't hold it alone. The bank's notice crinkles in my pocket, ink smudged but deadline sharp. Pay or forfeit by week's end. Her season closes tomorrow, the deal's end looming like a gate swinging shut. Confrontation brews over midday coffee, steam curling between us at the scarred table. I set my mug down hard, the thud echoing my pulse. You're using this stay to claim it subtle, I say, voice low but edged. Working beside me, learning the fences, the fields, it's all leverage. When the debt clears, you'll push to buy, turn this into another asset on your ledger. Her eyes narrow, unflinching, but hurt flickers like shadow over the ridge. No, she counters, leaning forward, hands flat on the wood. Genuine care brought me here, not conquest. The land pulled me, yes, but you. The rawness of your days, the way you fight without backing down. It's more than transaction. Her words hang, steady, pulling at the doubt I've nursed. Revelation spills then, her voice dropping to a whisper against the wind rattling the windows. The deal was pretext from the start, she admits, gaze holding mine. I saw you months ago, at a distant auction for ranch gear. Strong, alone, carrying more than the load. Drawn to that quiet fire, seeking connection I'd lost in city deals. Not to take, but to touch something real. Her confession lands heavy, cracking the air between us, her vulnerability raw as exposed root. I want to believe, but fear coils tight, vulnerability a risk I can't afford, not with the ranch hanging by this thread. Emotional fail surges, my walls slamming up. I reject her sharp, standing, abrupt, chair-scraping floor. This changes nothing. Pack your things. Season's end means you go, debt cleared or not. Fear drives it. Terror of opening to someone who could leave scars deeper than wire. She rises slow, face paling, but nods, retreating to the guest room without a word. The door clicks shut, final as a lock turning. Alone in the fields, I pace the furrows, sun beating down until sweat soaks my shirt. Regret hits like droughts burn, dry and unrelenting, throat tight. Loss of her eclipses the debt, her laugh in the barn, hand steady on a post, the warmth that filled the empty hours. What good is the land without that pull? The ranch stands but hollow now, echoes of her scent fading from the air. She pauses at the door that evening, bag in hand, unflinching gaze pleading across the porch. Truth over transaction, it says, silent but heavy. Her eyes search mine, waiting for the crack. Final harvest day dawns clear, light golden over the bending stalks, decision crystallizing like dew under the sun. We work the harvest in silence that morning, scythes swinging through the golden stalks, the air sharp with cut hay and earth turned fresh. Elena's beside me, her bag forgotten by the porch, sleeves rolled to elbows, skin bronzed from the season's sun. Our hands brush as we bundle sheaves, rough callus to new-formed scar, a spark jumping quiet, unspoken. The land yields despite the odds, heads heavy in our arms, the flood scars fading under our pull. No words pass, just the rhythm of labor, steady as breath, binding us closer than any confession. I can't let her go. Midway through the field, scythe dropping to the dirt, I turn. Elena pauses, eyes questioning, sweat tracing her collarbone. Stay, I say, voice low against the wind. Not for the debt. For this. The honesty of the work. The way you've rooted here without trying. Love grew in the sweat, not obligation. The quiet hours mending what broke. Your hand steady when mine shook. It's real, pulling like the land underfoot, deep and unyielding. She sets her bundle down slow, face softening in the light. Her walls crumble then, breath catching. I thought it one-sided, she whispers, stepping close. But you saw me. Past the money, the masks. The loneliness I carried like a empty saddle. I love you too, born in this dirt, this fight. Partnership beyond ledgers, she promises, voice firm as ridge rock. We'll blend it, your roots with my drive, building what lasts. The debt clears that afternoon, her wire humming through the line, bank's shadow lifting like fog burned off. Ranch secured, fences straight, but the true wind pulses between us. Two women choosing each other over isolation's weight. No more solitude echoing in the stalls, her presence filling the wide spaces with warmth. We find the barn at dusk, lanterns lit low, hay scent thick and golden. She pulls me close, deliberate, lips meeting mine, sure and slow. No storm's rush, just heat building steady. Her hands framing my face, body pressing solid. Tongues touch tentative, then deep, tasting salt and promise. It seals the season's harvest, deliberate as planting seed, roots twining below. Future hints in the quiet after, her head on my shoulder, fingers laced. We'll install those drip lines together, she murmurs, my ways woven in. Legacy grows shared, her ambition fueling the soil, my hands guiding the yield. No more ghosts haunting alone. As sun sets on the fields, peace settles like dust after rain. The ranch stands firm now, but it's our quiet truth that anchors me. If you felt this pull in your hidden places, share below. Subscribe for more stories of finding home in unexpected arms.